Hello and welcome back to more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where last time we played through the Lightning Cup on 50cc, and today we'll be playing through the Egg Cup on 50cc, which is the first of the 4 DLC cups added to Mario Kart 8, which are of course included by default with Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and we're going to be playing as my boy, Toad! We also unlocked a new car last time, and that's the Tri-Speeder, so we're going to use this vehicle today, along with the sponge tires and the parachute glider. Here are the stats. And of course, we're going to once again make sure that smart steering and auto acceleration are indeed disabled. And so without further ado, let's dive into the Egg Cup on 50cc. Let's do this. So I guess the first thing that I kind of have to point out about this track is that the course itself is shaped like Yoshi. Not that you couldn't have noticed that for yourself, but, well, I mean, you would have known it on the, well, I mean, okay. So basically what I'm trying to say here is that on the original Mario Kart 8, you would have had a lesser chance of noticing it because on the original Mario Kart 8, the map itself actually wasn't included on the screen. You had to use, well, I think they did update it eventually. I don't know if the update was in place before the DLC came out or not, but eventually, the way the game launched, the map wasn't available on the screen itself. You had to actually look at the gamepad to check the map, which never particularly bothered me just because I guess I'm just used to, because of the nature of streaming and recording videos, I'm used to kind of glancing in directions other than the screen itself, because whenever I record a video, I always just like instinctively glance toward my laptop to make sure the recording's still going okay. Because I've had too many times in the past where I'm recording and I'm like, oh, everything's fine and dandy, and then I glance over and I'm like, oh crap, my audio isn't working properly, or oh crap, the footage is crapping itself, or oh crap, my capture card's dying. So it's just kind of like habit at this point to check my laptop, just glance. I don't really think about it. It's kind of like when you're driving and you just kind of instinctively check your mirrors as you do it. Like, you don't even think about it, you don't even realize you're doing it. It's just instinctive, it's just habit after a certain point. It's kind of the same thing when it comes to me checking my laptop to make sure everything's still going properly while I'm recording. So I was kind of used to checking other screens while playing, so having to look at the gamepad to use the map didn't particularly bother me. However, one thing that I was kind of annoyed at, well, maybe annoyed isn't the right word, but the thing with the Wii U's gamepad with Mario Kart 8 is that the way that it worked is that when you looked at the gamepad, yes, you did see the map, but you also saw the rankings of where everyone stood. So you saw exactly what place everyone was in from 1st to 12th, and you saw what item they had, which I actually used to my advantage. So like if I had a super horn, my decision as to whether or not I used it could be influenced by whether or not I saw someone else had a spiny shell. So for instance, if I had a super horn and I looked at the gamepad and I saw this person has a spiny shell, but this person behind me also has a red shell, then I'm not going to use the super horn on the red shell because obviously I need to save it for the spiny shell. Whereas if I didn't see someone have a spiny shell, then I was more inclined to use it against the red shell. Now, of course, it could still turn out ultimately that that someone else would get a spiny shell soon afterwards. But I still say that it's a worthwhile piece of the puzzle to include in your decision making when it comes to using items or not. But the reason why I said I was annoyed at that is because obviously when you add the map to the screen, there is no longer any room to have the rankings for like what 1st to 12th level items they have. I mean, there's room for it. You could put it on the left side of the screen, but I guess that might clutter up the UI. Well, maybe not. I mean, I'll talk about this in the next race. There is technically room for it because, you know, there's the whole left side of the screen where you can, where you could have placed the 1 through 12 rankings, or at least like 1st through 6 to include something. Because, and my immediate counter to myself would be, oh well, maybe that would clutter up the UI too much because, you know, oftentimes sometimes less is more with the UI, because obviously when you have a UI, sometimes if the UI is too overly complicated and like there's too much on screen, then it might be too much sensory overload for you to take in because oftentimes you need to glance at the UI to just check with basic things in the moment, and you don't want to have too much to look at, I guess is what I'm trying to say here. So sometimes the simpler the better. So they might have thought that adding that to the list might have overcomplicated the UI and maybe cluttered up the screen a bit too much and lessened the amount of the actual racetrack that you could have seen at any given time. But then I thought to myself, well, yes, but also I'm pretty sure, because I've never played Mario Kart Double Dash. Like I said, the only Mario Kart games I've played are Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8/8 Deluxe. But I'm pretty sure, because I think I have seen gameplay of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, I just fell off that right there. And I'm pretty sure the Double Dash had the thing on the left where you could see the rankings of where, I don't know if it was 1st through 5th or whatever, but of course it's Spanish. See, that's what I'm talking about. If we were playing Mario Kart 8 and I had the gamepad enabled, oh, well, I mean, it ultimately didn't matter because I got, what? Okay. I guess that worked out for me. So what I was going to say is, had I been using the gamepad on the Mario Kart 8, then I could have checked to see that someone else had a spiny shell and save the super horn for it. But then I was gracious, then the game was kind enough to give me another super horn immediately after using the first one. But then I didn't get to use it because I didn't even see, I was so focused on the blue shell, I didn't even see the red shell behind me. But then the red shell hit me, and the invincibility frame saved me from the spiny shell. So, that worked out in my favor, I guess. I mean, I didn't intend it to work out, but I guess it did. Yeah, I never played Double Dash. Maybe I will one day, but I haven't. I have seen gameplay of it, so I'm pretty sure it has that thing on the left-hand side of the rankings or whatever. I don't know for sure, but it's either that or I know at least one of the Mario Kart game has that on the left side. It may not be Double Dash, but I'm pretty sure at least one of them does. Anyway, Excite Bike Arena. Pretty simple at first glance. Obviously, it's just the simple oval shape for the map. But one thing that's interesting about it is I'm pretty sure this map, or this course actually changes with each subsequent playthrough. So each time you race on it, the layout of the mud traps and the hills and the way it all is laid out, of course, the lightning strikes me right before I get hit with a spiny shell when I had a super horn that I could have used to counter it. That's very nice timing. All right, well, you know, we may as well stop to get the coins because we're far ahead. We can stop to pick up the coins that we lost because we want to make sure we try to get those car parts for the future. Yeah, like where all the ramps are and where all the mud splotches are. That changes every time between each time you race on it. So nice little detail. Anyway, next race. So, when I first saw this course, because when the DLC Cups came out, I didn't really, I mean, first off, I didn't, well, no, I guess, I was going to say I didn't expect them, but I'm pretty sure, I know they weren't there at launch, but they announced the DLC long before they came out, so they had been, I knew that had been a thing for a while, and I was excited for them because I love the base Mario Kart 8, and I've just, the idea of playing more Mario Kart 8 is only a good thing, so I was more than happy to play more tracks, more characters, and all that. But I don't think they actually announced the courses themselves until shortly before release. And even then, I didn't want to actually look at them because the thing with me is the less I know about a game going into it, the better. Because I want to save all the surprises for myself. I want to save as much to be discovered for the game itself. So, like, that's why I don't watch trailers. Like, for movies and games, I don't watch trailers. Just because, for one, like, even if they weren't laced with spoilers, I just want to keep as many surprises for myself as possible in terms of what the game looks like and all that. But just in general, it seems like nowadays, people who make trailers don't know how to create a quality trailer that teases things without outright spoiling major plot beats. And the most recent evidence of this is the Greatest Attorney Chronicles, where the E3 presentation literally showed off spoilers for one of the cases. I don't know that for sure because I've not played it yet, but nor have I seen the trailer yet. But everyone on Twitter was saying about how they spoiled something in the E3 presentation to the point where they had to, like, in their follow-up tweet, they had to just put a disclaimer saying, spoilers will be discussed, like, oh, thanks for the warning now, buddy. So, yeah, just in general, movie trailers especially, like, movie trailers nowadays feels like they just outline the whole plot in the trailers at the point where it's like, okay, why do I need to see the movie now? So that's kind of a pet peeve of mine, is when people can't make trailers anymore. So that's why, even if they did announce what the courses were going to be, I wouldn't have looked into it proactively. I may have known the names, but not much else. But that whole preface was just to lead into the real reason why I was talking about, which is, when this first got announced, or not announced, but when I first saw this course and got into it for the first time, the last thing that I ever expected to see was more of a Gobble Guts. Remember that from Super Mario Galaxy 2? The first major boss, okay, well, I guess, the first Bowser Jr. boss of the game, like the boss of World 1, Gobble Guts. Yeah, I didn't expect to see him again ever either, but apparently they, because that's the thing, there's a lot of unique bosses throughout the entirety of Mario's history. It's just that you don't really expect to see them again after their initial appearance. So I was very, very stunned to see that Gobblegum got a course all to himself, and it's a very, very neat course. I mean, in terms of like, because I was gonna say it shows off the anti-gravity well in the sense that you're riding along the back in front of the dragon and all that. It's a very, very creative course and very well suited for anti-gravity. But then I think of what the next course is, and the next course just blows this one out of the water entirely in terms of its use of anti-gravity. But yeah, in short, the reason I went on that tangent is because I was talking about Gobblegut's here. This is Gobblegut. That's the dragon that you're riding through and across, and it's nice to see Gobblegut get some love, I guess. Yeah, this course is phenomenal. And to be clear, I'm not even really an F-Zero fan. Like, I've never played any of the F-Zero games. I don't know anything about them. All I know of is their inclusion in this game and in Smash Bros. Ultimate. But my god, is this course phenomenal. Just seeing the world spun on its side because you're driving around anti-gravity. This course is freaking phenomenal for that. I do kind of wish you got to go into the city a bit more, like exploring the ins and outs of the city itself instead of just kind of riding around the outside of it. But it's still even just getting to see the city at a glance and going like up and down and all around, topsy-turvy, corkscrewing around with the anti-gravity, getting to you see up there the ceiling we just passed through. We drove up there before, so just that kind of I just said crossy, like crossing back and forth and upside. Of course, every time I use the super horn, there's always a spiny shell right behind me. Great. You love to see it. That's pretty neat. Okay, well, that was unfortunate. But yeah, just speaking as someone... really? Another lightning strike? Someone who isn't even an F-Zero fan, this course is fantastic. I absolutely love this course. I mean, I don't know that I put it at, like, one of my favorites of all time, but it just, on its own merits, just the way the anti-gravity is used. Because that's the thing. That was one of the point I made, I think in episode 2, was when I was talking about how anti-gravity feels like it's doesn't really get that much use. Like, the extent, it feels like in some of the earlier courses, the extent in which it gets used is just to go up on a, like, oh, you're driving on the wall now. And it wasn't really used in a whole lot of creative ways. There were some exceptions, like, Shy Guy Falls, like, driving up and down the waterfall. That's obviously cool. But by and large, I feel like it didn't really get a whole lot of it. It's especially apparent on the retro courses where, like, there are some sections that don't even feel like they should be anti-gravity, and yet they just are. And you could easily rework some courses to not have them at all, both in retro and, I mean, obviously retro, but some of the new courses could be easily reworked to not have anti-gravity at all. But a course like this, this is when anti-gravity really shines, is when the course is dependent around its inclusion, and it can't function without it, just due to the nature in which it's outlined. These are the instances in which I think anti-gravity really shows. I wish there was more of this kind of stuff throughout the game, but I'll try to point out some more of what I'm talking about as we go along. I guess I probably should have pointed out more instances of that in previous cases. This is not Ace Attorney. This is Mario Kart Cups, is what I was trying to say. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Also, we are so far ahead of everyone. I know, by the way, in case you're getting annoyed at the fact that we're just kind of steamrolling through this constantly and there's no real competition, don't worry, we're almost 100cc, and while 100cc won't exactly be 150 and 200cc levels of difficulty, there will at least be some competition to make it a little bit more interesting. So we're almost at 50cc, and then we will get into the good stuff. But yeah, I just want to, in case you're wondering why I want to do 50cc first, it's because I want to go through all the CCs to get as much enjoyment out of the game as possible, spend as much time playing as possible, and just refamiliarize myself with the controls, because I haven't. It's been a long time since I played Mario Kart Deluxe, so I want to kind of ease myself up to 200cc again. Anyway, let's view the results. You have collected 270 coins. A new vehicle customization option has been unlocked, and we're going to see what that is next episode. But for now, that will be it for this video. So, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for next time. I hope to catch you all tomorrow for some more Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Goodbye.